So he says that if we don't act to please the Lord, then our endeavors are futile. Because Lord is called here Janardana. These words are important. Why different words are used? Janardana means one who is actually the protector of Jana, people. So if he is not pleased, then obviously we are working without any purpose. And he is called Yajnalinga because he is worshipped by the sacrifice, as Brahma has also ordered him to do the sacrifice. Otherwise he says that one has not respected oneself. Because if we are trying to please ourselves, means we are actually working only for the body. Because Atma cannot be happy without Paramatma's happiness. Atma is linked with Paramatma. Atma is part of Paramatma. And if Paramatma is not satisfied, then Atma cannot be satisfied. That's why Atma can be satisfied only by bhakti and not by anything else. So if we are working to please our senses, then we are only working for the matter, for the inert matter, not for the soul, for the Atma, which can be happy only by pleasing the source. So Krishna is the Atma of Atma, he is the soul of the soul. And this pastime of Brahma stealing the calves, this is a very important pastime because it shows how living beings can be happy only by pleasing Krishna. Because when Brahma stole the calves and the cowherd boys, then Krishna expanded himself into the equal number of calves and cowherd boys. And now these cows had more love for these calves, and the cowherd men and women, they had more love for their children. So Balram was amazed to see this, because the day Brahma stole, Balram was not present that day. So he did not know this thing had happened. Because everybody was as before. Same boys, same calves, looking exactly same, behaving in the same manner. But they were all expansions of Krishna. So it is only when Balram one day, after 1 year, he was on Govardhan Hill with the calves along with other cowherd boys, and then the cows were down grazing on the field, and then these calves started running towards their mothers, and they could not stop them. And then all the boys also, they saw their fathers, they also ran, and there was such a union. So he was very surprised to see this. He saw this and then he was puzzled that why did this happen? Because in the past it never happened like this. So then he understood that actually this is what is going on. It is Krishna who has expanded, and now they cowherd men, they are actually having affection for Krishna as their son, because Krishna is the Atma of Atma. So they previously had their sons who are also devotees of Krishna, and they are also Nitya Siddha Parika, and they love them. But now their love was to the ultimate, because it was Krishna himself who was present as their son. So this is to show how the ultimate love is for Krishna, and that is most satisfying. So that's why he says that Tesham Sramo hi aparthaya yad atma nadrita swayam, that their endeavor, their effort is useless because they have disregarded the Atma. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti comments, aparthaya aparthatvaya ityartha. So very Jiva Goswami has said this. Anyway, it's Jiva Goswami who says aparthaya, aparthatvaya. It's a very subtle difference between aparthaya and aparthatvaya. Something like anyabhilasita sunyam instead of anyabhilasa sunyam. Instead of saying free from desire, he says free from desireness. So here also Jiva Goswami says that apartha means useless, but he makes the word apartha as aparthatva, and that not only useless but uselessness. Because sometimes you may perform an activity and it may seem useless at that time, but it may give some result later on. But when you say uselessness, means that actually there's nothing coming out of it. It's absolutely no chance. So why is that? Because Atma has been disrespected. And Atma is part of Paramatma, therefore Paramatma, the super soul of the Lord, has been disrespected. If you disrespect one part, then you are also disrespecting the whole. If you disrespect somebody's one part of the body, then you are disrespecting that whole person. It's like that guru who had two disciples, and every night they used to massage his two legs. One disciple used to massage one leg and the other leg. And one day while they were massaging, they started fighting with each other. They had some quarrel. And then they became so angry that they started hitting the other leg. One who was massaging the left leg, he was hitting the right leg of the guru. And the one who was massaging the right leg, he was hitting the left leg. So guru was getting beaten up from both of them. So it's like I'm respecting one leg, but the other leg I'm hitting that. Then what are you doing? You are disrespecting the guru. So in the same way, if we disregard our own Atma, then we are disregarding Paramatma. Because our Atma is part of Paramatma. If we are giving trouble to ourselves, then Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that those who are giving trouble to themselves, they are troubling me. So usually we think that if you trouble others, then that is sinful. But troubling yourself is equally sinful. Not caring for your own Atma is sin. Because your Atma is also part of the same Paramatma as others' Atma. So if we do welfare to ourselves, then we are doing welfare to everybody. But that ourself is our real self, not just the physical body, physical mind or physical thing. So for that reason he says that if we disregard our Atma, then we are also disregarding Paramatma, then he is not happy. And that's why Lord is pleased when we do devotional service, because that is regarding our Atma. Otherwise, he is not in need of our service. He is not in need of anything. He is Atmaram, Aptakam. Yajjair yajnai archana sravana kirtanadyair eva lingyate gyayate iti. So the word linga here he has translated as by which we are known. It's like you put tilak on your forehead, then it is known that you are a devotee, depending on what type of tilak you put. Because Krishna's tilak is one type, Shiva's tilak is another type, Devi's tilak. So this is a link, this is a symbol. So Krishna is also known by sacrifice. Sacrifice is a symbol because yajna by Vishnu. Sacrifice is Vishnu himself. It is for Vishnu. So the sacrifice, of course, is not just fire sacrifice, but even worship, hearing, kirtan, sankirtan yajna. These are all various ways to perform the sacrifice. Yad yasmad atma eva nadritah paramatma nadrena svateva atma nadarat tasmin tushte swarthasya asiddhi. So if Lord is not pleased, then we are working against our own welfare. Swartha means our own goal or selfishness. So if we are not working to please the Lord, then we are not selfish, because we are not working for ourselves. So we are harming ourselves then. So after hearing this, then Manu, he speaks. He says, Adeshoham Bhagavato Vartayam Amiva Sudana Sthanam tu Janujanihi Prajanam Mama cha Prabho Yadokah Sarva Sattvanam Mahi Magna Mahambasi Asya Uddharane Yatno Deve Devya Vidhiyatam. So he says that I will follow your order. Adesho aham bhagavata vartayam. So I take the order of the Lord and I will do. And he is referring to Brahma as amoeba Sudana, the killer of the amoebas. There were amoebas before. So it's called here amoeba Sudana. Right? See this word amoeba Sudana?
Yeah. It doesn't appear to me as amoebas.
No? What does it appear? So Brahma is the antibiotic. Kills the amoebas. So in Sanskrit, amoeba means sin. So amoeba Sudana means the killer of the sins or dispeller of the sins. He's addressing to Brahma. But he says that now I have a problem. If we have to do some service, you need some place to do service. And he ordered him to protect people and to produce children, do sacrifice. So he needs land for that. So he says that sthanam tu ihe anujanihi prajanam mamacha prabhu. He says, please know that the place of my place and the place for people, you tell me where is my place. Where will I work? Because he says that the earth is submerged in water. When Lord Shiva was born, he said, give me a name. That was the first thing he asked. Now Manu, he got the order to do service, but he says, where is the place? Where do I go? So if Brahma says, go to earth, then he says that the earth is submerged in the dealer's water. Earth, which is supposed to be the residence for all living beings, is now submerged. So please do something to uplift her. So it seems once upon a time the earth was inside water. There was global warming, all the ice melted, earth got covered. Now they're saying that if all the ice melts, then many countries will be submerged. Right? Beginning from Netherlands. So at that time the earth was underwater. He says, Yadokaha sarva sattvanam mahi magna mahambasi. In the great water, it is submerged. Asya uddharane yatno deva devya vinyatam. He says, O Lord, please do something to uplift this Devi, this goddess earth. If she can come out, then we can work. Because Manu is not an aquatic, that he can live in water. That is for sure. He wants land. He cannot be inside water and function. If he was some fish or something, then it was alright to be in water. So Vartayam Vartisya, Manu said that I will follow your orders. Sthanam Vasati Sthalam, give me the place where I have to live. Anujanihi Paramrasa, he says, please think about it. So Adhisthanam Tatha Karta, Karnam Cha Prithak Vidham. Adhisthan is first thing. When you perform an action, then that action is performed in some place. That place is called Adhisthan. So first that is needed. Without Adhisthan there is no action. That's why he is asking this. Amiba Sudana he Papanasana, that you are the destroyer of sins. So Maitreya Uvacha, then Maitreya spoke. Parmeshti Tvapam Madhye Tatha Sannama Vekshagam Kathamenam Samuneshya iti Dadhyau Dhiyachiram Srijato me kshitirvaribhi Plavyamana rasam gata Athatra kimanushteyam asmabhi sarvayojitaihi Yasyaham hridayadasam saisho vidadhatu me. So now Brahma, he put his attention, because till now he was not thinking about earth. So now he realized that Prithvi, the earth, was lying within water. Apam madhye tathasam aveksha. He saw this, and then he started thinking, Katham enam samuneshya iti nadhyo dhyacharam. So for a long time he was thinking how to bring earth out. It is not a simple thing to bring the earth out. Such a big thing. And bringing it out, and then how to place it. Because it also has to be supported by something. Not that he is just going to hold it all the time with him. So how he is going to keep it? So he was thinking that what can be done. Some engineering job. How to bring it up and where to keep it. So this was his problem. Whether he has to build some pillars below the water and then it will be hanged on that. What arrangement has to be made? It's like Venice city. So he says, the Srijto me kshiti varbhi plavyamana rasam gata. He says, when I was busy in creating, then earth, it became submerged and by the water, and it went to Rasatal, went down. Athatra kim anushtayam asmabhi sargiyojitai. So he says, now what am I supposed to do? I am engaged in the act of creation. I have to now stop that and think of this. So he was thinking, but he could not find a solution for it. So he said, Yasya aham hridayad asam saisho vedadhatume. Says, may the Lord, from whose heart I was born, please help. So finally he surrendered to the Lord because he thinks or he feels helpless. So Brahma was born from the Hridaya or by the thinking of the Lord. So he remembers him. So ultimately, if we cannot find a solution, then we think of the Lord and He will inspire or give a solution. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur just writes a little bit commentary. There is not much explanation here. Nanu purva kalpe manvah kutra sapraja asan iti shastra gyatvam janasi nava iti chet. Says, suppose Brahma asked question to Manu when Manu was asking that please give me a place. So he says that in the previous kalpas, where did the different Manus perform their service? You know this or you don't know because you know the Shastra. So you must know from Shastra where were they acting, where was their place. You also do the same. So then when he said that do you know this or you don't know, then Manu said yes, I know. They worked on earth, but earth is submerged now. He said, Janami eva ityai yadav kaiti. Says, I surely know this because I have studied the Vedas. I know the past history. But the earth is inside the water. So in the verse, it is written that it has gone to Rasatal. Now this is a very interesting statement and commentary which is Vishwanath Chakravarti is commenting. It says Rasam Rasatalo Plakshita Garbhoda. It says when it is said that it went to Rasatal, Rasatal is one of the lower planets. We have Atal, Bital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, Patal. 7 lower planets. So he says that Rasatal here means Garbhodak ocean. That ocean which is at the bottom of the universe, where Lord Garbhodak Sai Vishnu is lying down. So earth fell into that. Means it really went completely down. Why is that? Why it did not go to Rasatal? And this is an interesting commentary. It says Rasatalasya bhu vivratvat tatra bhuva majjana anupapatte. He says Rasatal is a hole inside the earth. And therefore it is not possible that earth can get submerged into that. If you have an iron ball and you make a hole in it, and you go down and that is Rasatal, iron ball cannot submerge inside that hole.
Would this be like the Earth's core, that kind of a hole? Or
Would
this be like the core of the Earth? You know what I mean?
Somewhere, because we have this Atlantic Ocean and I always think this must be the Atal. End of Atala. Atlantic means Atal Anta. Anta means end. End of Atala. So Atala must start somewhere where the Europe is ending. And beyond that must be these others. This Patal and Rasatal and all. Because he says it is Bhuvivara, it is within earth. Maybe you have to go in or down or somewhere. Otherwise why it has name Atlantic? And then they said there was some Atlantic city which got submerged. So that must something to do with Atala. this I thought was very, I don't know, from Jiva Goswami also writes same thing.
Practically there are all within the earth.
Yeah. Says Rasaya api mahi vivratvat. Jiva Goswami also says that Rasatal is nothing but a vivar. Vivar means an opening or a hole in earth.
There is
So this could be
thing
one of those
in
deep
the ocean.
trenches in the plant.
In the ocean there is a very deep hole. They call it la fossa delle Marianne.
Black hole or something.
Black hole is in the space.
But this is in the water and it's so deep that nobody can reach.
It's
No
one of
one
those
can reach.
Deep trenches.
Huh?
Deep trench.
Yeah.
Like in the Atlantic, the ones where
The
they keep
Atlantic.
finding all these amazing
Yeah, this type.
creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So there must be some of these planetary systems which are described.
that's probably. And they are creatures. They're like all made of light, for example, and wonderful shapes. Amazing.
Because there also it is described that in some of these lower planets there are all these snakes with a lot of light on their head.
Yeah, amazing.
Because
It's
they
true,
need
it's
light,
true.
have to make their own light.
So there is
It's
no
there.
sunlight there, but
There
light
must-
is only from this.
Yeah. I saw a
So why there is no
documentary.
sunlight? If these planets are outside in the space, then sunlight will go there.
Yeah.
When it is described that these planets are dark, there is no sunlight, and the light is only from whatever gems on the head of these creatures, nagas or whatever they are. They're called nagas, but how they look like.
That is wonderful space. I saw one time on amazing features they have with blue light, orange light, light blue,
And
pinkish.
also in Mahabharata it is described that Bhima, when he ate the poison and he got drowned in Ganga, and from there he was pulled down and then somehow he reached Patal. So how he reached Patal if he is inside the water? Must be within earth somewhere. And then he met all these creatures, Nagas, Vasuki, and he was fighting with them and they were biting him. And because he has eaten poison, and poison acts as an antidote for the poison. So as they are biting, then his poison is coming diminished. He is coming to his senses. So snakes were surprised that more they bite him, more strength he gains. This is what magic is this. So then, when he was thinking like this, praying to the Lord, iti abhidhyayato nasa vivrat sahasa anagha varhatoko niragada angushta parimanaka. So then very interesting thing happened, that when he was meditating like this on the Lord, then from his nostril, and it does not say from which side, left or right, then one very small baby boar came out, size of the tip of the thumb. Suddenly it shot out that, like you sneeze. So iti abhidhyayato nasa vivrat sahasa anagha varhatoko niragad angushta parimanaka. It was just the size of the tip of the thumb. And then tasya abhipashyata khastha kshanena kila bharata gajamatra pavravridhe tadadbhutam abhut mohan. And then more surprising that as he was standing in the sky, in the space, and everybody was looking at him, Brahma and his sons, then in a short period it became the size of an elephant. Grew up. It's like these days they have these hormone injections. And the farmers, what they do is that they take the zucchini or something. At night it is very small and they give an injection till morning it becomes so big. Then they bring it to the market and they sell it. So just who was there just few days ago? Somebody was telling me that there was someone in Pune and every day he was taking this pumpkin juice and Karela juice, and one day he did not take the Karela and only pumpkin, and this pumpkin had this thing, and when he got this he felt so sick that he has to change all his blood, otherwise he will die. So Varahadev got a big hormone injection and he became big Varaha. And everybody was surprised. Tad adbhutam. Adbhutam means they were wonderstruck. He says, what is this? Never seen anything like this. Sometimes it happens that some fly can go into your nose and you throw it out. But here this small thing came out and Marichi Pramukhai Vipraihi Kumarai Manuna Saha Drishtva Tat Sokaram Rupam Tarkya Masa Chitradha. So Brahma, he was contemplating, he was conjecturing that what is this? And he was accompanied by his sons, headed by Marichi, Pulastya, Pulha, Kratu, Atri, Angira, Marichi, all this. And also the Kumaras were there, and Manu was there. So he had 3 types of sons. He has the sages, that 9 sages, and the 10th one is Narada. And then he had Kumaras, the Gyanis. And then he has Manu, who is a Kshatriya, king. So all 3 of them were standing and looking along with Brahma. It must be a sight to see. All these great people looking at this and wondering. And then everybody was trying to give an explanation at what it is. So Tarkaya Masa Chitradha. Chitradha means in various ways. According to their own understanding, everybody was giving an opinion. Seeing this Saukar Rupam, this form of Varaha. Kimetat Saukara Vyajam Sattvam Divyam Avasthitam Ahobat Ascharyamidam Nasayame Vinishyata. So Brahma said that indeed, what is this? Something transcendental, divya, divine, which is situated here in the sky on the pretext of taking the form of a boar. Because he didn't believe that boar, suddenly it became so big. He says, must be something very divine. And Aho Bat Ascharyamidam. He says, this is a great wonder and at the same time a great troublesome thing because he cannot figure out what it is. So he says, and it has come out from my nose. So what is it? Like this, he contemplated. So there is hardly any commentary on this. Varhatoka Suksma Varaha. Varhatoka means small boar. And Gajamatra Hasti Sharir Paramita. This became the size of an elephant. So we'll stop here.
So again about this point that the earth fell from the position into the ocean, into the water. Huh? So means that some balance has been broken somehow.
So this is before Hiranyakash. had anything to do with the earth. This is way before that, I guess.
I don't know. Maybe they threw it. Or they say that when there is too much sin on earth, then earth feel burdened. So maybe this Hiranyakasipu and Hiranyaksha were already there, and they're demons, so earth could not take their weight, slipped down.
Oh. She was too overburdened.
It lost its balance.
So then, at one point, she is like there is a wonder, and the Earth is in the middle, let's say, of this planetary system, Madhyam. And then in the Earth itself, there is another wonder with all these lower planets.
I don't know, it looks like that to me. I'm not. This whole planetary system is not clear to me.
I'm glad you could say that, because it's sure not clear to me. That's reassuring.
So this is kind of interesting that so that episode with Kashyapa and Diti happened before Swayambhuva Manu's appearance. Because here it is described like after.
You see, this description is a mixture.
Of
Some is
kalpas.
described from one kalpa, another is described. It is not in what you call chronological order.
Because now, if that happened, if it happened because of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, here it is said that Brahma says, while I was engaged in creation, this just I wasn't attentive, and the earth slipped into the water.
Yeah.
So if it was done by such big demons, then Brahma would have been taking notice of it, isn't
Well,
it?
it's interesting that Brahma didn't.
So he
didn't
doesn't
know.
mention
He
anything
came out of his
that
mouth
it's
either.
done by
Yeah, but he's
powerful.
also not mentioning why it went
slipped.
down.
Yeah.
So maybe he was busy and these people were doing their activities which created imbalance, and Brahma was not taking care of it. So it fell.
But then it really means that even while the process of creation was going on, there were some asuric energies, let's say,
It looks like that.
counteracting his work.
The Shiva itself, he has created so many strange.
It is possible. Or it was submerged from the previous kalpa.
Are these planets symbolic of something else than just planets?
They're symbolic of consciousness. Because they signify the consciousness of living beings. That's the real meaning. Because you exist in a particular place or in a particular body according to the level of your consciousness. So when you say higher planets, lower planets, means higher consciousness or lower consciousness.
Right. Is it also, again, related to the chakras in any way?
Yeah, because everything what is outside is also inside. That is the representation.
In the beginning we spoke about this, that the Atma can only be fully satisfied if the Paramatma is pleased. So here from the story of Manu, it's seen that you really have to do a big thing to please the Paramatma. And then you have Krishna saying, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yomi Bhakta Prayachati. So
Well,
and
he is.
then this factor that you have to be engaged according to your capacity. How is all this to be reconciled?
It's what Krishna is saying, that he is pleased with the bhava. Bhakti uparitam asnami, that you bring with devotion, then it is pleasing to me. So it is not that you measure it in some mechanical way that he brought so much food, 108 dishes, and then only he is pleased. So he is pleased even with a leaf, but that does not mean that if you have the ability to do more, then you say, well, I will only give one leaf because Krishna is pleased only with one leaf. So he is pleased with your bhava, but that does not mean that you don't utilize your abilities to full. So Manu has big ability. He can rule, he can produce, he can do so many things. So he is going to use that. Not that he can say, well, I will just put one leaf in front of Krishna and he is pleased and that's it, my job is done. So it is naturally that if somebody is devoted, and that is the meaning he has bhav, then he wants to give everything in the service. So different people have different capacities, and according to their capacities they do service, and it is pleasing to the Lord. So main thing is our sincerity, our sincere surrender.
And no, it's especially in our times always very confusing to determine your capacity.
But why it is confusing?
But some people really think of themselves as being very important, very big, and having big capacities, and don't really have it. And others think of themselves as having no capacities whatsoever, but actually they do have some capacity, they're just not aware of it, or not being made aware of it, or not given the chance to
Maybe inabilities or capacity.
to unfold it.
Yeah, so then one has to also take guidance. As here it is Brahma who is giving him the service. So it's not that Manu just decided, well, I have this capacity, I will do it like this.
So if someone really sincerely tries to do seva or practice bhakti, does Krishna reveal to him his capacity or what he wants him to do to please him, or
Yeah,
how
it
is
depends on the
this
level of the
working?
devotee.
Or the guru for that matter?
In the beginning, my practical experience is that in the beginning you need direct instruction from the Guru. And as you advance and your heart is clean, you understand the philosophy, then you also understand from your own intellect. It's not that all the time instruction has to be given.
Because we have also seen in the history, or recent history at least, that some devotees were inspired by their guru to do big things, which they tried hard, and really speaking, did some damage to themselves, and then became very discouraged and now don't do anything.
Really speaking, if they were sincere, then they will not be damaged. This damage also comes due to lack of sincerity or having some other motives. Otherwise, if sincerity is there, then they will not be damaged. They can also see that this was a process of education and purification. But when sincerity is not there, then we just try to find fault.
Is the ego big? The ego is maybe bigger in this case.
Fault finding is because of ego.
So the clue to this is again proper hearing.
Yes, and sincerity.
Can you tell what's the source of doubt? Is it aparana, or is part of the process to sort things out?
Source of doubt is ignorance. And ignorance does not mean lack of knowledge. Ignorance means improper knowledge. When we have proper knowledge, then we don't have doubt. When knowledge is not right, then also it is possible that you don't have doubt because you believe in something wrong and you are completely sure about it. And there is in between stage when you don't know properly either way. Means you don't believe in something wrong firmly, but you are not clear about it, and you also have knowledge of the other side. So then you have doubt whether is it like this or is it like that. Then your mind wavers. So in that wavering stage you cannot make proper decision and you cannot act. That's why hearing is prescribed. Because when you hear, then your doubts will be cleared. And of course hearing means hearing properly. So proper hearing means two things. One is that you yourself are sincere for knowledge. Sometimes people hear just like that because they just have inquisitiveness like a child. Child is going with the mother, he sees something, Mama, what is this? And then if Mama is not answering, then he leaves this, he asks another thing. So it is not that he has to know it. So real inquisitiveness is that you will not be in peace unless you find out. And once you know, it will have an influence on your behavior. Not that I just hear and anyway. So you gather knowledge. That is not sincerely inquisitive. So sincere inquisitive means that this is a question which is actually bothering me. And unless I find the answer for it, I cannot be peaceful. And of course, once I know it, then I'm not going to be the same as I was before. It will bring a change in me. So that is called proper hearing. And then proper hearing also means hearing from the proper person, means one who actually knows. Otherwise, I hear from somebody and I think he knows and he does not know, then he is going to put me into another ignorance. So this is very important. And then our doubts will be removed.
And the flip side of that, Babaji, I think, is that when the Lord wants you to know and wants you to hear the truth, He gives you that. That's the bhakti that He gives you. He gives you the bhakti. That is bhakti.
Of course, when He wants, then He...
Excuse me?
If He wants, He can do anything.
Yeah, if He wants, I mean, if that's what He wants for a particular jiva's soul, then that will happen.
Of course, who can stop that if He wants?
So would you say that that's the bottom line? If whatever God
Ultimately,
wants,
of course, everything depends on Krishna. He is the cause of all causes.
cause of all causes.
And on hearing from what is said to do proper sources, if you still resist, what is causing that? Is it the mind? Is it
Attachment and the previous samskaras.
situation?
Previous samskaras. And attachment to those samskaras. And that is again because I have my ego. I think that because when you hear properly and you hear something which contradicts your belief, then it is an attack on your ego. Because now you have to accept, which means you have to give up what you were knowing before or believing before. So then you have to be humble for that. So then ego will raise its head. So then it becomes an obstacle. So that's why Shraddha is necessary. Why Rupa Goswami says Adav Shraddha. That the beginning is Shraddha, means I have faith. So faith, obviously, faith involves some respect in it. This word Shraddha signifies that I have some respect. So respect means something which is more than me, better than me. And then only it is possible for my ego to keep quiet. If I hear from somebody who is equal to me, even if he is saying the right thing, then I will say, well, no, I don't accept what he says because I have my ego. So this is the reason that we give respect to Guru. And we treat him like God, because when he says and we have respect for him, then it is easy for us to take it. Then to take from somebody whom we don't respect. So that's why it is as Krishna says, Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. 3 things he says. That pranipat means paying obeisances, means showing humility with your body. And pariprasna means asking questions, so surrendering your speech. Because we don't want to ask question, then I have to minimize myself. When I ask question to somebody means I am lower than that person. So this is the humility of the speech. And then seva, to do seva to somebody, then you have to have humility of your mind. So your mind, body and speech, all 3 are surrendered. Then you can hear. So then it says, Updekshanti te jnanam, then they can instruct you. Jnanina tattvadarshini, because they are jnani, they know, and they are tattvadarshi, they are realized. So this is proper hearing.
If one loses faith in the Guru, is this necessarily a bad thing?
Well, if you lose faith in the Guru, then
But doesn't lose taste for bhakti or for the idea.
you see, the thing is that here everything is based on Shastra, and Bhakti is also based on Shastric injunction. So you have to have faith in Guru.
Not
Then-
the principle of Guru, but
Of course, if the person is not qualified, that is different. But if you lose faith in the principle itself, then it is a problem. But as I said, that Guru also needs a qualification. It's not that anybody can be Guru. And Krishna himself says Jnani and Tattvadarshi. So these 2 are the qualification.
another thing is the Leela sometimes is so fantastic that it's almost impossible to take it literally.
It is not
Is
literal.
there another way which you can accept it?
Yeah, it is
And-
not.
and-
It is not to be taken literally. It is not meant to be taken literally.
But only symbolically? Or
Not only symbolic, both.
half
That's why you have to hear. Some things are literal and some things are symbolic. It is written like that. So it has to be heard. So that's why we need parampara. We need proper teacher who can explain. These books are not meant to be just self-study. These are not like how to do it yourself. But
In the Gaudiya community, there's it's relatively small, considering this planet presently, but still there's so many different opinions. How is that possible to take?
different
Balance.
opinions come because of not studying scripture. There is no other reason. You see, when I study scripture, then it is the same book. When I don't, we all have the basic principle of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They have written in the Goswami literature.
Isn't
When we don't study them, or we study partly, and then partly we make up ourselves, then opinions come.
Because there's not complete understanding.
as a group, not individually, but as a group, isn't it a sign of immaturity that we're unable to come together? Not necessarily in opinion, but in practice, in celebrating devotees in Sankirtan. The
Yeah.
idea of Sankirtan is coming together. We're not a big,
See,
large
coming together is possible when the goal is one. And when goal is not one, then people cannot come together. Even in a family, people live together. They are together because they have something in common. But if everybody has their own goals, then
Isn't our goal understood to be one? Prema?
yeah, but they have different explanations of that also. Somebody is talking about this bhava, somebody is talking about that bhava.
This doesn't seem
In other
like
sampradayas, they don't
that's-
have this variety, so they are all right. They have only one. So, problems come. Actually, the root problem, as I said, is the lack of proper understanding. And when I say lack of proper understanding, does not mean that it is completely missing. It means that understanding is there, but not proper understanding, some other understanding. So right thing is only one. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. This is only one statement. But wrong thing is 2 plus 2 is 4.1, 2 plus 2 is 4.2, 2 plus 2 is 3.9. It can be so many. Right is only one.
So then what to do?
What to do? Well, if you
Because
know,
we don't see Krishna, we never see Krishna, we need devotees.
yeah, so as I
It
said,
seems
if you understand the problem, then
a
find a
contradiction.
solution for that. When you go to a doctor, first he diagnoses the disease and he finds the cause of the disease. At least in Ayurveda it is like this. First trying to figure out what is the disease, and then second is what caused it, and then third is the medicine. So Nidan, finding the cause, what is it called, prognosis? Or?
Prognosis.
So that is,
Diagnosis.
I mean diagnosis,
Diag-
then there's
Diagnosis.
prognosis.
so that is important. It's exactly like curing a disease. Same principle. You have a doctor, here you have a teacher. There also medicine has to be taken, control your diet, follow something. Same thing here. So there is a problem. Problem has a solution. Problem has a cause. And then try to remove it.